Top members of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, have held another stakeholders meeting in Abia North Zone with focus on repositioning the party to reclaim power in the state by 2027. The members, who came from the 5 local governments that make up Abia North, agreed to shun every divisive tendencies that affected the party in the past. Speaking at the meeting, which was held at the Abriba home of Mandela Obasi, member representing Abia North constituency in Abia State House of Assembly, PDP chairman Abraham Ama expressed confidence that PDP would rise again by reclaiming state government house and other elective positions. He maintained that the party's tickets for the 2027 elections will only be given to candidates who emerge through credible primary elections and have the capacity to win main elections. Ama, who emphasized that the days of sentiment and impunity were over in his party, said that PDP has now returned to the people. He, however, issued a stern warning to any individual who claims to be a PDP member but works against the party's interests, saying that such individual will face divine consequences. All right. Nze, what do you have to say? I mean, and I must say that I find the last warning, the last comment very funny, that people who works against the party's interests, you know, such individual will face divine consequences. One would say that PDP in Abia State is yet to face divine consequences, considering 16 years of misrule. But then, what do you have to say?
Was it really 16 years of misrule? I'll be 24 years of misrule.
24 years, yes. Ojuzo Kalo, T.A. Oji, then Okezipa. Correct.
And all of them had their full 8 years. You know, I don't know why you had to enter into that angle, because when I saw the divine consequence, I was like, which divinity? Is it the divinity that is interested in the people, or divinity that is interested in the group that found themselves in the corridors of power, who will only benefit themselves, their families, and their cronies? Look at, you know, sometimes, you know, at some point I blasted the House Deputy Speaker, you know, Ben, for bragging that he will deliver Abia to APC. I blasted him. I said,
to APC.
I said, right. Are you not ashamed? If you had said this where I am away, I may be tempted to, you know, do something sinister. But coming to tell me, PDP of all PDP in Abia State, PDP for 24 good years, PDP of living Abia in mess, and suddenly divinity chose to remove PDP so that Abians can see road. They have just seen road for 1 year plus, not up to 2 years, and the same PDP is coming to invoke divinity to bring judgment upon anybody who works against them to deliver election or vote to another political party. I don't seem to understand. Now, Ama, who is the PDP chairman in Abia North, is it Abia North or is that whatever they call it? Now, and the House of Assembly member under the platform of PDP, you know, bragging. Well, let me say this. This statement of theirs should not be dismissed with a wave of hand.
Why do you say that?
The reason is that he who threatened might have a reason. No serious person gives empty threat. They have threatened to reclaim Abia, to send Abia back to imprisonment. They kept Abia for 24 years. And they have threatened it, and the Labour Party under the leadership of Alex Oti should hear it and begin their operation now.
One would say that the concern would be probably with Labour Party being factionalized in Abia State. Have they been able to mend fences?
The issue of factionalizing
the Labour Party faction in Abia State and the OT faction.
Now, what they had to do, what OT need to do, is to know that Abians, in fact, Abia State is in his hand. He should not allow that faction. And look at Abure's faction are in the major minority. Why his own faction should be in the super majority. So let him continue his good works in Abia State and let his works speak. Not only to speak, because in Nigerian political circle, we know that elections are not just won by those who cast the election. Elections are also won by those who convey election material from place to place and those who count election material. Let OT begin now to put mechanisms in place to defend the votes of Abians against 2027. I expect that in 2027, other people who won election like the House Deputy Speaker, the member representing Ohafia and other elected officers in Abia State who won election under the platform of other political parties should lose in 2027. If OT is remaining in Labour Party, let Labour Party sweep Abia from top to bottom. If OT moves to maybe any other political party apart from APC, because I wouldn't want it if he moves into APC, in as much as I will not sweep away all his good deeds, but I will just remove my support from him as a person. But I'll still hold to the fact that he has done well during his 4-year tenure. But for me to say that PDP will come to talk in Abia State, in fact, from what platform are they even speaking? Is it from the angle that Okeze Ikpeazu did well in his time? Is it that T.H. did well in his time? Is it that Ojo Zokalu did well? Even as much as we expected much from Ojo Zokalu, but we discovered that he handed over to a badder, permit me to use my own word, a badder government. And his badder government handed power to a baddest government that made divinity to remove them, shift them to the corner, and brought this Alex Oti. Because I believe that it is not about Labour Party thing in Abia State governance. It is about the individual who is in charge.
All right.
And that is where I say that let them go and perhaps stop this trend, because people, in fact, let the people of their constituency stone them for making this statement.
You can't make that statement.
Don't stone them anyway. Don't stone them, but disregard their statement.
Right.
Because to me, it is quite useless.
Thank you for taking that back. That was very
I think
insightful.
you like that.
It was very insightful. You are a gentleman today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lawrence.
George, what do you have to say?
Okay, my brother's conclusion here that it is not actually about the party. I do not want to dwell on divinity. What is divinity? We are talking about political parties and who says that Alex Oti, or rather the Labour Party in Abia State, cannot do wrong? Who says that if they continue to remain in power in the next 24 years, that they may not do worse than the PDP did in the last 24 years? We are talking about politicians. Political party is just a vehicle through which you attain power and begin to govern. So what I'm taking away from what he said here is the last statement, that it's about the individual. Alex Oti has done well. You can't take that away from him, especially given where the previous governors were coming from. So the threat that the PDP will take over in 2027, like he said, every serious person, whenever they issue any threat, look into that threat. It's not just an empty threat. There must be something they are plotting. So it will be bad if Alex Oti, as a sitting governor, with the good way he's riding on, allows the party, the PDP, to take over in 2027. What am I trying to say? With the little work he has done so far, I think he would have won over the people. He should continue on that line and also play the politics. But that the PDP may not take over, I don't see it simply because the past 3 governors did not do well. From his statement, what that means is that the person that may contest for 2027 may be better than Alex Oti, even coming from the PDP, because PDP is a party, it's a vehicle. It's not just the name PDP. Now, there might be somebody who has who has goodwill in Abia State, maybe coming from the private sector or even from the political sector or whatever sector, but has a name in Abia State and decide to throw his hat into the ring that want to contest. And it happens that PDP becomes a vehicle, the political party through which he will achieve that. All the man needs to do is to campaign, telling the people about what he has done, even for the people and elsewhere. So if they like him as a person, they decide to vote for him. Does that mean that he, as an individual, will not perform more than the other previous PDP governors? So I'm trying to say that divinity has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing. One thing like this, no, sorry, I'm not speaking pidgin English. It has nothing to do with politics. So we are talking about the individuals. Like he said, that's what I took away from what he said, which is right. The individual, you can have the best person from the worst party. But what that means is that the person will have to work extra because the party already has a name, an image that has been battered. So if you have somebody that has a good will that transcends beyond political party and all that, the person, the available platform may be PDP, which is bad in Abia State, so to speak. But because of the person's good will, the person may win the election. Let's not forget, Labour Party before now had no name. Labour Party before the last 2023 election had no name. It was a party for the Nigerian workers. It took P2B leaving PDP to join the Labour Party that blossomed that party across the nation. That people will hear that Okada riders won election under the platform of Labour Party because of the name of P2B, an individual. It is not about the party; it's about the individual. So you may have someone who is very good, who has who has good will in Abia State, decide to relate with PDP and get their ticket. With his good will overshadow all the bad governance that the PDP governors prior to this day had administered on that state. That's exactly the point I'm trying to make.
All right.
So a good person can turn something back to good.
All right. I want us to look critically at the psyche of a typical Southeasterner. Now, Southeasterners are majorly business persons. They are entrepreneurs. They are not much into politics like in the South, Southwest, and the North. So that's why it's easier for anybody to thrive in politics without much of a backlash in Southeast than other places. It's not as tough. But politics in the Southeast appears to be more on the person than the party. Now, in PDP, for example, Ocho Zokalo, we know what he did in Abia State, and we even know at some point he had to go to prison for one or two things. So that alone, to a large extent, showed how culpable he was with regards to his governance in Abia State. And he, by willpower, brought in T.A. Oji. T.K. Oji brought in Oketi Bazo. It was progressively worse. Now, elections in Abia State was more of OT coming up was more of the choice of the people. Though the REC chair lady then really did help, in making sure that that particular vote worked. Moving on to Anambra State, it's just like APC. APC is trying everything it can to make inroads into Anambra State. But Anambrarians are not having it because of what? Can I shock you? One of their major reasons, the civil war. Because of the civil war, and they have strong belief that APC is everything that represented the Nigerian government. That when you're going to Anambra State, you still see that crater. Anambra people, of all the states in Nigeria, Anambra has not forgotten. They have not forgiven. And it's affecting APC, even growing in Anambra State.
Sorry, right? Let me interject. Let Dame Chukwemeka Ojukwu fought the war. If he was to be alive today and very active as a man and decide to take up the political card of APC and wants to run for the governor of Anambra State with what he was before now, would the people be thinking that APC represents the Nigerian government?
The fair and...
No, I'm just asking. It still boils down to what I said earlier, that it has to do with the individual.
When you're talking about the individual, it still boils down to the fair and true answer to that question is that Odumeju Ojukwu will never...
No, you cannot. That is
where hold on. I am telling you the psyche of a typical Igbo man and how they do things. There are things that can't happen. Probably Labour Party, yes. APC, no. In Anambra State, it will be tough. The worst person, but that's the reality. So now, what is obtainable in South is different from what is obtainable in Southeast politically. So when we look at the party, the Southeasterners will look at the party. The Southeasterners will also look at the person. So you might be everything, but the moment you enter the wrong party, you might not have your way. They would love you. And they will tell you this party, this party. How did Rochas or Korocha? That happened in Labour Party was what happened in Imo State. Even Okada riders that were on the same party with Okorocha, I think it was
under APGA.
It was under APGA. What was that? What's APGA logo again?
Okoko.
Wow. So old women will come and say, that's all they know. So they will thumbprint all the anywhere there's logo of chicken, they will just thumbprint there because of one person.
I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm a political scientist, so I understand what it means by peculiarity and realities of the time. I understand this. Political peculiarities and realities. I understand it completely. And I am not too far away from the Southeast. I schooled there. So I participated in the elections and I have some relationship, bloodline relationship over there. So I lived there. I understand this. I followed the Ararume's election in 2007. The election that he was supposed to contest. So I understand this. But what I'm trying to say that in politics, the individual also has goodwill can change some of these things. That thing you're saying, the old woman will come, and he goes there. It is because the other party, maybe the umbrella symbol, or whatever symbol, elephant symbol, whatever, did not do their homework properly. Because they equally have their own women and men in the respective communities. If they play the politics is like what, how do I put it, like, evangelism that the church does.
Okay.
If you sit in one place, you definitely will not get the numbers.
Okay.
So before the advent of internet, these churches we are doing physical evangelism, moving into nooks and crannies, moving into hinterlands to preach to the people, and they get their membership. That is exactly what they do in politics. So you cannot say because your party is known at the federal level, therefore with your goodwill you just come out without doing all the underground work. You need to have, for every unit, you need to have members, leaders of those units, who will be holding unit meeting, not even ward now, unit meeting to convince. If for instance, I'm a unit leader in my own area and we have aged people who are registered to vote, it should be my responsibility to be holding meetings, reaching out to these people, giving out some lagis here and there, and telling them, impressing on their mind that it's no longer a cocoa, but an umbrella. If you do that, on that very day of election, you see somebody who not asking, but because these people just believe because the party is a party that is known at the federal level, that with the federal might you cannot rig where you are not, where you're not popular. Wherever you're not popular, you can win election. Every election is local.
Yeah.
That is the locality of what we are talking about now. You reach out to these people individually, let them know that it's no longer a cocoa. Based on that, the man is coming. The man that is coming under the platform of umbrella is a good man that he has done this, he has done this. In fact, he gave me this to organize this unity meeting. And by the time you begin to do that thing from time to time, you see that the party will be growing in that unit in leaps and bounds. And the time for election comes, the party will be making inroads. Right. When you relax, hoping for federal might, how do you win where you are not popular? You can't even dare to go to that place.
All right, very well. Nze, final question before we move on to the next story. And this has to do with some of the concerns that Judge raised, and which is very tangible. But he said that a good person, a man of goodwill, can come on PDP platform, for example, in Abia State, considering the damage that the image of PDP has in Abia State. A man of goodwill can come and use his goodwill to launder that image, and then, possibly emerge the winner in the governorship election in 2027. Now, the question I want to ask you, you are an Igbo man, you are a Southeasterner, and you have direct links with Abia State. Having known and understood the political makeup of a typical Southeasterner, and the PDP misrule of 24 years in Abia State, do you see a person, no matter how good, being able to wash away the things that PDP has done? Now, understand that it's different when it is, I'll call it a virgin political party, probably SDP. Suddenly, a man of goodwill goes to vie for that position through SDP. One would say it would be a very tough competition, yeah. But when it has to do with a political party that has done so much damage to the state, and the state is yet to fully recover from it. Do you think there is a possibility of PDP boasting that they will reclaim their mandate, even though with a person of goodwill? Do you see that possibility happening?
Yes, I am Igbo man. By my name anyway, anybody in Nigeria will know that I'm Igbo man. And I understand the Igbo political ideology. You know, each particular group of people, either ethnic, nationality or thereabout, has their peculiarity. They have their peculiarity. Igbos have their peculiarity, and they have their ideology driven from the fact that someone can out of nothing become something. That is the mindset deep that is rooted in the heart of an Igbo man. Out of nothing, I can become something. So you see Igbo man not having that spirit of throwing in the towel, that this is what fate has given to me. So bringing it to politics, you made a statement that when you come to Anambra State, the Anambrarians have not forgotten, have not forgiven the effect of civil war based on Ojukwu sympathy that is still keeping Apga rooted in Anambra State. But I tell you that why that same thing is happening in Enugu, happening in Abia, happening in Ebonyi, the same mindset the Anambrarians have is the same mindset that the Ebonyians have, because they are all Igbos. The same blood run in their vein. But there is something that is remarkable. When Ojukwu instituted Apga in Anambra State, he made sure that the structure was rooted deep down. And that is what is still keeping. Coming to your question, if a good man in Abia State can come up and win a political office of a governor under PDP, the answer is 100% yes. But it is as difficult as a man climbing palm tree, long or tall palm tree with bare hand. It is hard, but it is possible. You understand what I'm talking about? Because in Abia State, you see the emergence of Oti. Oti was an Apga, you are aware? He had contested under Apga, thinking that the Ojukwu sympathy will work for him, but it never worked. Now, obedient movement came and revolutionized the mindset of the people. And you see that I am one of the persons who went to the Igbos and broke the apathy sentiment of voting in their heart. So I believe that somehow the Nigerian government should be very appreciative of me, because I went to these people in their marketplaces and told them specifically that what we are struggling is over a cutlass. And the Nigerian government is holding the head of the cutlass, whereas we, the Igbos, are holding the sharp edge, and we are dragging it. I say, who will bleed more? That was the statement I have used, and I brought the Igbos to their knees and made them go back. Do you know that we are even bringing INEC people to markets? Any Igbo populated area, we take INEC people there to register them, and they were registering out of their will. So that was the effect that came to Abia State, and the OT managed to swing into Labour Party, and it brought him to bear. And look at, OT had something in mind even while he was in Apga. He had something in mind while he was in PDP. And now Labour Party has given him a platform and he has showcased it. So anybody who is coming now to oust OT must be a man who has displayed himself over time. And the Igbos have seen him and know him and believed in him. Otherwise, political party does not... Look, let me tell you the truth. In my own personal constituency, it was Labour Party that won. And I know that my rep member, my House of Assembly member, listens to my show each time I'm online. He was listening to me now, Mr. Ositeze, Honorable Steze. So he won under Labour Party. But you see that in the state governor, who is from PDP, was doing very well. And the Ulster couldn't attract a dividend of democracy to our people because of his party affiliation. And he consulted, what do we do? I say, oh boy, it is not about party. Anya Gageri party. What will we eat is governance. So connect to PDP. He left the Labour Party and moved into PDP. And now come to my place and see what that young man is doing. No senator had ever done it since 1983, apart from Jim Wobodo. No senator, no House of Rep member. I work closely with them all. But this young man had outsmarted all of them. I mean, he had
Performed.
Yes, performed more than every one of them. Because in my place now, you see high level of development because of an individual. So I believe that this ideology in the mind of the Igbos is about a person, not even political party. But until that person emerges, he can now begin to, just as George said, he can now begin to evangelize to the people that I am coming with this idea, I'm coming with this mindset, I'm coming with this plan. So please look at the political party that I belong. Like in those days, we say, an old woman will say, where do they draw foul? They will show. She will thumbprint everything foul.
Everything.
That is how they will ask, where do they draw broom? And they will thumbprint everything broom. Where do they draw umbrella? Or where do they draw even shoe? Because I think we have boot party that this thing is shoe. I don't understand where they're going. So right. That's the mindset.
Okay.
But I am saying to Abia people, let Alex Oti finish what he has in his coffers.
All right.
He has started very well. Let him finish it. In 8 years, let another person that is gooder. You know, I talked about the badder, and the baddest. Let the gooder person than Alex Oti come. Right. Then when that person might have finished his 8 years, let the goodest person also come.
All right, very well.
And they talked about the man representing him moving from
Labour Party to PDP.
And the person, the honorable did not lose his seat.
No. We protected that. We protected. So don't go there. Don't make that. Don't make that a case. George, don't make that a case. Leave it for me. No, don't make it a case.
That case is valid.
Marisha, that's why I have problem with it. Please let it be. Let it be.
The case George is making. That case is very valid.
Let it be, because I just had to. We protected. We are the one who told him.
Okay,
we his constituency said move.
You the non-state actor protected him. No problem.
So we told him move for the interest of the people, not for his own personal interest. Not for his own personal interest.
As against the constitution that says
no. We are the ones who say move. So and even if he had contested the election, we will still vote him 10 more times.
All right.
No, we didn't want to vote. We gave him that.